Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Firsties. I'm very excited about today's episode. I have a very special guest. I actually feel like, do you know Breakfast Club where DJ Envy says every single person who's on his, Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
You know, every time someone comes on, he says, we have a very special guest today. We have 2 Chainz or whatever. That's what I feel like it is, because quite literally when my mom was on, I said the same exact thing. But I do have a very special guest here today. I have my cousin, my sister, Miriam. Say hey, girl.
Hi, guys. So excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Okay, you already know. She's been to my house like a million times.
Yeah.
So I thought today we could talk about, first I want to discuss what firsties really mean. I think all of us have a different definition of what firsties can mean, but we all technically are firsties. So part of the reason why I want to start this podcast is for people who are first generation, who come from immigrant parents solely, so literally everyone. But then also really people who are also us, who are the first to ever do anything, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you are first generation college graduate. Miriam just graduated from VCU.
Yes.
Like Habasha Central.
Okay, we have our master's graduates too. Syracuse.
Yeah. And fun fact, our graduation date was on the same day. So we weren't able to attend our graduation for each other, which that was.
We were on FaceTime though, so we had.
But also your graduation was at 8 p.m. at night. Like, what is going on? Honestly, shout out to me, because I really attempted to try to map it out.
You did.
To do my graduation in Syracuse and then drive down.
It wouldn't have worked. There's like flights.
Yeah. But do you know what it was? It was, I'm so used to being on the go on my own. I'm like this.
True.
I've landed, changed, and then went out with my friends the same night of landing.
Yeah.
Like, who does that? I'm a sociopath. Yeah. But I didn't take in consideration, I have my like senior citizen parents, also like Ethiopian parents in the airport. Like, can we talk about that? Like,
it would have
chaotic.
Been, you would have been got through the next.
Like, remember your story about getting your passport, or your
oh my gosh,
and you're like, it's just stay in the car.
That's what I'm saying. It's not worth it. I understood where you're coming from. That's why I was like, but I told your mom too. I was like, please just stay there. Like, there's no need. Like, by the time you get here, it just no.
Yeah, it's just chaotic. So, and that's so real. Like, how many Habasha immigrant parents, but first generation kids, where they could relate to that.
Like, 100%.
An immigrant parent in an airport, chaotic.
I don't think I've ever heard a good story about that.
I don't think I've
ever heard a good story about that.
What do you think it is? Like, why?
I think they just like psych themselves out.
Always stressed out. Why do they have to hold on to the passports?
Abisha time, like, you know, like everyone's like, oh, you're on Abisha time and you come late.
Yeah.
That's the airport's like the only thing that Abisha time is not like valid for.
Right.
Do you mean they'll be there, flight at 8 p.m.
What time
they're
will they
there
get there?
at like actually 2 a.m. They're just standing around. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's wild. It's actually wild. So I definitely was like, I'm not gonna put myself through that of,
on your it's just too stressful.
It just is. And all of it is like, they just want to celebrate, like, I get it, you know what I mean? But like, headache.
But we're not gonna force it. Yeah.
So anyways, you've recently graduated, and I don't know about you, but when I graduated undergrad, the world was my oyster. You couldn't tell me shit. I was so excited.
Oh yeah.
I was that girl. Yeah. Still am, but I was that girl. Right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You feel that right now. You like, can you
even like the few weeks right before graduating, it's just like you're on such a high.
Right.
You mean? Like,
and think about it though, love. Like, and it's so much pressure because we literally are our parents migrated to this country, left their family for you to accomplish this one thing. It's finally here.
Yeah.
Can we talk about,
I've never thought of it like that though.
Yeah.
Because it's all you hear growing up to.
That's all
like,
you worked towards.
While you're elementary school, you get to this. Do you mean like stepping stone, and then you go here, and then it's like that's basically like essentially like the main goal, though.
Yeah. So can you imagine the pressure that? And I'm not saying no one else feels this, but I just feel like it's very, very common in
just more
immigrant families. Yeah, and that is why. And remember the TikTok I showed you of that Marshall who's talking about, and basically at my graduation, one of the speeches. The commencement speeches, African-American male, he discussed how hey, for my, brown and black sisters and brothers, an extra pat on the back to you guys, because for you to be here, it's actually remarkable of what we had to, like, let's talk about FAFSA. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about having to figure out what school to go to. Let's talk about applying on your own, having to pay the application fee on your own, all this stuff, because we just didn't have the resources that necessarily our white counterparts had. And that's just the truth. I don't want to change anything at all. I think it makes us work harder. And it's a blessing that but there is a reality of our experiences. And that is exactly what Firsties is. It's just anyone who's the first to make it happen. Like,
who's like went through those hardships.
You're one of the first, first college graduates in our family. You know what I mean? Of the first gens, right? But I didn't consider that. I think that what I was feeling when I graduated, and this is why I wanted to have this episode, because it's graduate season 2, that like, why am I feeling this way? And it was because, can you working towards something for your entire life, for this moment, you know what I mean?
And then for it to just like be done. Do you mean?
Yeah. And then what are people asking you now? Like, what now? My mom just asked you the other day, like, are you applying? That's a lot.
And there's no like break time in between. Like, there's no grace period. Like, even though you could give yourself obviously a grace period, it's like, you're not genuinely ever just like relaxing. It's like, like chilling out. Like, it's like your mind is always like, okay, like, what next? Even like in school, there's always been like, once you're done with the year, okay, now you're getting prepared for the next year. Do you mean? It's like, we've had that like routine or like schedule of like, and I know what's next. But now you really don't know what's next. Do you mean?
And I don't know why in our culture we do not allow room for like relaxation. Yeah. Like, girl, go travel. Go to Europe and kiki for a moment. Yeah. Like, have your sisters who traveling. No, like, kiki.
Genuinely,
you know what I mean? And it's always like, I mean, I definitely fell in the trap of like, all right, what do I have to do next? Now I got to work. And then I just felt as though like, and there's nothing wrong with it, but a lot of us, we moved back into our parents' home, which is honestly a blessing in our culture. 100%. Like, parents, same with yours, like, didn't ask for a dime. They were just like, as long as you're working, doing what you're supposed to do towards your goal, we're going to support you. That's a blessing. Like, I love our culture.
That's something I can never even like complain about that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that is a blessing.
You always have a home. Yeah. And if it's not your parents' home, it's my parents' home. It's Willa's home. It's whomever, which I love. Not everybody has that. So we're very blessed in that way. We come in numbers. However, there's a reality of like, you can still, I don't know about you, I can only speak from my own experience. I felt alone in some of the postgraduate. It was so weird. It was like you're surrounded by all your loved ones and families and everyone's celebrating you, but you still feel alone because you're like, all right, little help. Like, what do I do next? You know what I mean?
Because you're not, I feel like in all throughout college and just even your school life in general, like, you've had this community, do you mean? Like, no matter where you went throughout, do you mean you could have went out of state, you still would have had that community, but like, now's the first time I feel like everyone's doing different things in life. Like, some people are like moving to like Asia and just becoming, do you mean, doing something there? Like, there's really no like right path per se, do you mean? It's just kind of like everyone's doing what they want to do now.
Yeah,
like,
especially in your generation too, where a lot of people are embarking on their own like creative ways and things. And so I really think your generation and mine are the generation of Firsties. I think it's a lot of us doing
the new things that
the new wave.
Yeah.
Like, some of your friends are photographers and musicians who are Habesha. Do you think any of their cousins? No.
True.
Their cousins are nurses, engineers,
That's a good way
EMTs.
to put it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, just breaking outside of that like norm.
Yeah. You've studied marketing. You're literally one of the first and me to do that. It's all been medicine and whatever, So there's something to say about us that we're able to embark on a new endeavor, and
God forbid we chose like fashion merchandising. Like, what are you doing, Bob? What do you mean?
Bus mom.
Like,
our families.
I already get content like some type of like, really, like, business or whatever. Like, you don't want to do medicine.
They don't understand it. Yeah.
But I'm like, what would I do if I was? Do you mean like I wanted to be a like, what is it? I don't know. Other like
the way that you don't even know what it is. It's like that's exactly And I'm so glad. I feel like the generation that's coming too is also like combating that, and they're just like, we're not about that.
Doing what genuinely makes you happy.
Absolutely. And even me being very new in the podcast space, I really feel like I'm in my bag with this
100%.
show.
I think,
and it comes so easily because I really truly feel, and this is me just being vulnerable, that this is where God intended me to be. So it's more of a spiritual journey than I could say anything else. And so anyone listening out there who who've recently graduated. Maybe they want to start a new business or start more education or travel across the country to do photography or dance or whatever it is. If that's truly your passion,
what you want to do, I think, yeah,
then you should follow it.
Follow your heart on
now,
that. Now,
there is a reality with postgraduate blues. Remember, Mare, after that 6-month grace period, ish gets real, right? Those payments start coming in.
Yeah.
Then you got to talk about it's just a lot.
That's why I'm like trying to find ways. Like, I've already like, you hear everyone saying it too. And I'm like, okay, like now that I've heard it this many times, it's like, how can I prevent that starting now?
Right.
Do you mean? I'm like, okay, I can't hear the same spiel of like, those were such dark times. I'm like, thank you for motivating me now. Like, I don't, do you mean? Like, I can't. And I'm like, yeah, like, honey, just wait 2 more months. I'm like, thank you. This is so motivating. No, like, I'm so excited.
But also enjoy. But for me, my only experience was I graduated. It was exciting. I took a couple weeks and traveled. I really wasn't worried about like finances at that point. I was living at home. I didn't have a job, but I had my grad money and all that. You know what I mean? And I didn't really have that much expenses other than like going out and eating, but I just enjoyed my time. And also, I'm not gonna lie, when I moved back home, it was nice to be home.
True.
With all my college friends who came home too for a little bit.
100%.
But
once the summer ends and now it's like
the dust settles.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, one of my friends already got a job and now she's moving. It's like, oh wow, and now I have to actually use this diploma.
My friend texted me the other day too, and she was like, we were laughing about it because she's looking for a job too, but she was like, one of her friends was like, oh, it's a 3-day weekend, or she saw something online like that, and she was like confused, like, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm unemployed. It's like Juneteenth on Monday, and she's like, I wouldn't get the joke. And I'm like, oh, like this is just great. But we both laughing, and I'm like, unemployed life, like yeah, 3-day weekend. We wouldn't know what that means, like. A Tuesday as a Saturday to me. Do you mean?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what day of the week is it?
It's like
right
you're
now?
living COVID days.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
Yeah.
But that's, I'm like, I want to like I want to be grateful for this time period because I'm like, genuinely, like, even the last few months of college, I was like considering just getting a job of like the last few months. But I'm like, genuinely, what part of my life after this, I'm going to have to be working for the rest of my life. Do you mean?
Right.
So that's, I'm like, I'd rather just like sit down, take a break, genuinely like take advantage of this like, these last few just like weeks or like a month or so, it's kind of just like sit. Like I don't even want to be doing too much. It's not even like I have to like go travel the world and come back, but like just sit in my thoughts. Do you mean? Like I just don't want anything going on.
There's
like
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and then get into like the whole spiel of. Do you mean?
I just saw a TikTok that was basically saying how our generation kind of has it flipped where. Love, now is the time to try different stuff.
Yeah, true.
This year, and the term that they use in the TikTok was like, and I'm referencing TikTok, but it really spoke to me. It was your 20s is actually supposed to be your high risk years. So try the language, try the traveling, try the new guy, whatever it is.
Trial and errors, like you try stuff and.
Do you have any bills right now? No. Yeah. But when you're 40 and you're possibly married and have properties and a mortgage, you can't, I mean, never say never, honestly.
Yeah, but it's
a little bit hard to be like,
less likely to
I'm going to quit my job and be, start a band. Yeah. Like, you have responsibilities, dude. Like, you can't really do that. You know what I mean? So trying different things. I will say the one advice I would give to undergrads who just graduated, and you as well, is I didn't try enough stuff. How do you know if something is for you if you don't try it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So try different foods, try different cultures, try different activities. Like, you don't know what can stick. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
I was just kind of like going with the motions, and then again, I don't regret absolutely anything because it led me to where I am today. It's very cliche, but that is so true. But the jobs, remember I was like, at one point, like working for an orthodontist, and then I was working for a spa, and then I was a counselor at one point. Like, none of it made any sense.
But I've always used your story as like a testimony to others too, of like, I saw every step of the way of like, do you mean to where you've come here? So I'm just like, no, but like I've seen, do you mean like you, like I said, you graduated like a psychology degree, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, and now you're working like at the biggest, do you mean like marketing for all that? And I'm like, you didn't know your life was going to take you down this course, but I still believe that like every job that you had was like led for you to get here. Do you mean? Like, you didn't know. Like, it's like,
don't do it, you're gonna make me cry. Don't do it, you're gonna make me cry.
No, but genuinely, like, I've actually said to my friends, I'm like, I like seeing that play firsthand, I'm like, I saw like the different trials and errors and like see like, okay, this didn't work, but like it led you to an opportunity that you got. Do you mean obviously didn't tell you at the time, but like now you know of like, and he was only leading you here. I'm so glad
we're talking about this because Mara, literally nobody knows this, but from 18 to last week almost was the worst time of my life.
Really?
Literally, yeah.
See, that's like,
and the reason why is because I put more of my identity, and a lot of Habesha people, and honestly immigrant parents, I say Habesha, but really, or no, I'm sorry, not immigrant parents, but first gens who come from immigrant parents, we all deal with this. Where does our identity lie? In our grades, in our performance. I don't know about you, but my parents pushed education so hard that is where I found my validation, my value, which is so not a great place to be, right? Because when I have an A, I'm on cloud 9. What happens when I have a B minus? What happens when I'm not the top in the class? And that has happened before. You know what I mean? And then
you're just, it's this cycle that you just keep going down through.
And then when you really look at the grand scheme of things, meaning I allowed my North Star to be my faith more than my grades, everything else just seems smaller. Like, you think I'm thinking about like my algebra test if God forbid a family member is sick? Like, no. Like, that is so minimal. You know what I mean?
True.
And we're talking like, I almost look at life like a simulation or like a video game. Like, we're worried about school. Education is great, but there's so much to life. There's relationships, there's falling in love, there's traveling, there's experiencing all these things, all the emotions that life bring you.
100%.
Like, school is great. Like,
I'm grateful to have, like, do you mean you're blessed enough to even go to college?
Really think, like, when you think what's the most important thing, you're not like my school, you think family, health, right? Like, my mental health, all that stuff, right? But it's funny that you bring that up because a lot of us bring I find you, me, our cousins, I find that we do a lot of our identity comes from performing. I know my Indian friends, my Hispanic friends, my Asian friends, it's from grades. Like, if I'm not on honor roll, then who is Milo? Like, I don't know who I am. That's when I was younger, when I got honor roll,
and that's when you got even rewarded. Do you mean?
Everyone around me claps. So I'm like, oh, this is how people can love me. Which is so, like, I just want to hug that 6-year-old girl. Like, girl, you're more than that. But like, that's so sad. And a lot of people can relate to that. But the point that you talked about, that time where my life just seemed very strange. Once I graduated from high school, went on to college, I just felt kind of lost. Like, I don't know. I just felt like I was doing the motions. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted to study. Like, I just didn't know. And then I didn't know who to talk to because that wasn't really something that was celebrated in our family or culture. But because I was I'm not even joking, like, literally sometimes when I was living at home, I would just be crying and my mom would be like, what's wrong? And I literally be like, I don't know. And that's a very, very scary place to be, because if you don't know, you're just like...
Yeah, you don't even know where to begin and, like, to see where you can help.
Yeah, I was just like... And then my poor mom, she doesn't have the vocabulary or the resources to be like...
To help you on that,
My African mom is not like, okay, let's go to counseling. She just like, it's fine or whatever. You know what I mean? And then I'm worrying her, so then I just stopped sharing because I don't want to burden her. Yeah,
because then that's a whole other thing.
It's like... when you get older and you know this, you're almost not hide things from your parents, but you almost don't share to protect them from the pain of seeing their kid like going, like, you'd rather just handle it yourself. Because it just brings
more like stress onto both of you, and it's just not worth it.
Which is just crazy. That's just another thing of being a firstie. But that was a time, and still now, but I just like, girl, if you read the notes in my phone, I'm not gonna read it because it's like very, very like personal, but and so sad. But it was just prayers to God about like where I want to be in life, because a lot of my identity came from my performance. Yeah. And I was working at these random jobs that had literally nothing to do with what I wanted to do. And so I was so confused. Now, if you connect it looking backwards, I would have never gotten this job, been in this apartment, traveled the way that I'm traveling, meeting all these different people. If I didn't get the job before that, which I didn't get the job before that, right?
Do you see how things work, though?
I mean, it's not things, it's just the way that God works.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's how God works in general. Because I'm like, that literally is the biggest thing of like, you don't know why you were placed in that time period of your life, but now you do, because you look back in
I
hindsight
wouldn't
and you're like
anything. But that shit sucked.
Yeah, 100%. You can't take that away from that.
It was, you know, what's so funny is, so like I work for an orthodontist, and now my Basie, my sister, she is going to that orthodontist, and she travels there every 4 to 6 weeks to get her adjustments or whatever. Yeah. That drive from here to Reston is about 45 minutes without traffic, with traffic about an hour. Yeah. She tells me this all the time. She says, I tell this testimony to everyone to be like, this girl is crazy. I used to have to be there at 7 a.m. Again, this is not, here's the thing, is that if I was driving 45 minutes for my podcast that I'm very passionate about,
then it'd be nothing. Yeah.
The real grind for anyone out there, and the crazy thing is that our parents do this.
That's so true.
Our parents, the real grind is not like, this is work.
Yeah.
Right? I have to, hey guys, sorry, we're back after a quick commercial break. It wasn't actually a commercial. If anyone wants to sponsor us, please let us know. No, but what we were talking about was how our parents grinded. And the real grind really is, because the reason why I say that is because I went through that for a little bit. And again, when I say a little bit, like, has nothing to what but I worked at a job, worked early in the morning, and quite literally, every time I went there, I was like, what am I doing? Now, the office space was fine. The team was fine. It was a great job. It was nothing about the company.
It's not your passion.
But it just wasn't my passion. Quite literally. No. But I'll tell you how God works. This is how God moves in your life, and you don't even know. And I'll probably get emotional, which is fine. But so the reason why I got this job, it was right out of college. Oh, no. So I worked for, my background is in psychology. And sorry for anyone who graduated with, I don't know if it's different now, but when you graduate psychology, it's basically having like a high school diploma.
It's like, what do you do with it now?
Like, quite literally. Yeah. But I'm sure there's something you could find. So congrats. Yay. But so it was tough to find like a good paying job, right? So, and there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Like, you have to start somewhere. So if you're at an entry level job, that's totally fine. You kind of have to let the ego out and kind of know that you have to grind to get to where you are, to where, you know, we are today. But, so I graduated from psychology. So I did this counseling job. And I found out very quickly that I'm not equipped for it, because I take the problems that my clients were having, I would take it home with me. Yeah. And they train you on how to do that. I'm just not capable of it. Yeah. Now, that was a tough realization for me, because I thought I was made for this. And I just had to be honest with myself. And like, no, I would be home and I would just be like upset about how other people are dealing with their problems.
But you knew that, like, you at least figured that early on. It's like, okay, I'm not forcing this. It's not for me.
Yeah. So I tried, and then I was like, I just can't. Even my mom was like, this is just not for you, love. You're just not like
equipped for that.
I'm just not. Yeah. So then I did YouTube for a little bit, and just really, like, I always wanted to get into media and everything. That's why I studied marketing later. But, and so I used to do YouTube videos, right? And then when I applied, this one orthodontist who's the number one orthodontist really on this coast, but in Reston, has like athletes come, influencers, all this stuff. I applied for a position as an orthodontist. I think, no, it was actually just like front desk. Yeah. Receptionist. And then when I came in, he saw my work on YouTube, and this was one of the most cringe, hearing your voice and seeing yourself in another. I went to my interview, and he was like, oh, pull up one of your YouTube videos.
Oh my gosh. I wouldn't have done it. Yeah.
Cringe. Like, and I filmed it. Yeah. And then I posted it. Cringe to see yourself, see other people see you. Like, I could never. So I'm there dying, right? Like dying, screaming, crying. And then, that day he offered me the job on the spot. And then he saw that I found interest in like the orthodontist assistant, like how they're moving on their teeth. Like, I thought it was just cool. So he's like, hey, do you want to do this inside the front desk job? It pays a little more. I'm like, yeah, let me try it, whatever. Yeah. And so I thought it was really cool, because it's more hands-on. Yeah. And so I did that, and he trained me and everything. And I learned so much from him. And honestly, his team, I want to say shout out to Tanasha, Griselda, Alexis, Christina. Love you guys. Miss you all.
You know all them.
No, I mean, those are my girls. Like, I love them so freaking much. Yeah, I love them. So when I was working there, I started doing YouTube stuff for him, like marketing stuff and everything. Keep in mind, only reason why I got this job is because I was somewhat disciplined enough to teach myself, like all the stuff I'm teaching myself, right?
Yeah.
So I was doing that. So he saw my YouTube skills and he was like, all right, you could do marketing for us. Yeah. Don't have a marketing background, but I just learned myself. Yeah. So I was there. Now, cut to my biggest insecurity was always my teeth.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
And at this particular orthodontist office, he pulled me into his office and he said, hey, Mila, I don't know if you've noticed, but everyone around me, including my staff, they all have perfected teeth. He fixed their teeth, right? Because he said, you guys are my marketing, right? I want to present my best work. Totally get it. I was not offended. I was like, yeah. So he was like, would you like to fix your teeth? Yeah, but I knew I could never afford it. This is a man in Ruston, and if you guys are not familiar with the area, it's a very very wealthy area. Probably one of the wealthiest in the area in Virginia. And I was like, sure, but like, I mean, you know how much you pay me. Like, I can't, you know what I mean? And so there was actually a way that by working with him,
you could finance it and like
that was actually completely free.
Oh, wait, you do like the monthly, oh, that's after you left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, so we'll talk about it. So then remember, and this is how God works, because looking back, you don't need straight teeth to like live. Yeah. Right. And as much as it was insecurity of I would have never dropped that much money if I didn't know. If it was free, yeah, go ahead, do it. 100%.
Right? Who wouldn't?
So then, and by the way, I saw his work. He's amazing. Yeah. And also, it was behind the teeth braces, so people wouldn't even notice that. Like, it just
And for free, like what?
Yeah, I mean, literally for free. It's my whole entire mouth would
shift, like
value, like retail value, whatever that's called, would be $25,000.
That's so crazy.
Including the surgery that I took.
That's literally like.
Do you not remember I got 9 teeth removed?
That's so
4
crazy.
Screws put in all in one time.
It literally changes like the structure of your face too, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Because your jaw is getting like relocated.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah. I would be afterwards, but I'm not gonna do that to myself. So just Google.
But let them see. keep it real.
Right. You're like, Firstie, come on. So that's so funny. So keep that in mind, right? So I feel like God knew this girl ain't gonna fix her teeth, and not that I needed to, but it was holding me back for what I was gonna do in the future. Yeah. Right. Because I've always wanted to get entertainment, be in the camera and everything, right? So that holds me back. And here's the thing, guys, is that I'm definitely for like love yourself, but if there's something that is truly holding you back, I would like it was all for me. No one told me anything like that. I actually got so many compliments on my smile. It was just holding me back. I was like, I want to fix my teeth. So so that happened, and then COVID hit, right? And I remember it was like yesterday. It was like the teens of March. And we were shut down, especially we're a medical office, so we had to be shut down or whatever. And then once we were kind of back open, this was like the time where like a vaccine was not even discussed yet. Like, like people were dropping
still like peak COVID.
Yeah. Like people were losing their loved ones in record numbers. It was so tragic. But, and I, at the time, lived with my parents. I was terrified to bring anything from the office, because we worked with people with their open mouths. Like, are you serious?
And even with the mask, it was just too risky.
It's just, yeah. And then bring that home to my parents, who are a little bit older. Yeah. And I was like, I would never be able to live it down. Yeah. Keep in mind, I am choosing to deny income when the entire world is losing their income and they're getting
so your office is still going to be open?
For a little bit, yeah, because it was a medical office or whatever. Oh, okay. They eventually had to be shut down. And so I actually resigned from the position. I remember I was scared shitless. Yeah. Because again, like, no money at all. I'm choosing to stay at home, and like, I don't know when the next, and then I didn't know, like, am I gonna get a paycheck, a refund check, whatever it's called, remember, because I willingly quit, not get fired or whatever. Yeah. So then So I was living at home with my parents, and then it was like the longest day of life. It just felt like, remember that episode from SpongeBob where Squidward is just living the same day when she was, like, that's what it felt like, right?
Everyone felt like that during COVID.
Like, how many walks can we take in a day? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Isn't it crazy how we lived through that?
I know, it doesn't feel like,
a moment.
It feels surreal.
Like, what?
That was our, like, everyone's life.
College through that. Yeah. Like, crazy.
That was the real high and low. Like imagine like experiencing
honestly, yeah, Mary, you went through college year with COVID.
I mean, nobody was,
but you didn't miss much, honestly, and you made up for it for your senior.
No,
like,
true.
Girl,
I still had most of my junior.
If you saw this girl's like camera roll and like all the like, you guys were that girls. Like it was.
We definitely had our fun.
Like, girl, bye. Like you're fine.
But I'm just saying, like, just the freshman year, like wise part, like imagine being on that high of like, and it was just when I was just starting to like college too. Like, you know, in the beginning, it's like a little scary. Like you're still getting to know everybody and like you get homesick. But then around like spring break is when you're like, peace out home. Like I'm like, mom and dad, I'm not going home anytime soon. Like, I don't think I'm coming home for spring break. And then never left back to school during spring break. So that was how God humbled me. And I was like, well, now I'm here for good.
Yeah. But so then that happened and then I was staying home. And then the world finally opened back up. And at this time, what was crazy is that after, not only was I declining income, but then I signed a contract that if I were to quit or leave, then my braces are no longer free.
See, that was a tough part.
So that was a little hurdle because I then basically owed money. So I was putting myself in more debt. So that happened. It was able to work out. God is great. And then after that,
if you couldn't pay for it, was you just going to remove the braces? Like, you can't do that.
I literally don't even want to think about it. I don't know what could have. Yeah. We actually worked out a payment plan, obviously, but I had to pay him. And here's the thing is, I actually wasn't mad about it because, protect, like, that's his business. Yeah. And if I'm working for him, but if I were to quit, you think I'm able to have free braces? Yeah. Like, that's not fair. I totally get it. I totally respect it and get it.
Intent of like working there to begin with too, it wasn't just to get the braces and leave. Do you mean? It was like the way it should happen.
The world had a pandemic.
Yeah.
Who could plan for that, right?
True.
So then I was living at home. First, like 2 weeks, honestly, was nice. Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't say nice, but just living at home with my parents. Yeah. Even though we were all scared shitless. And then it was no longer fun anymore. And people lost loved ones and it was just horrible. The news was just felt like a horror movie every single day. I still can't believe that happened a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. Feels like last year, but it's literally was a couple of years ago. And then the world's opening up again. I was like, I probably should find another job. So again, guys, this was postgraduate. I'm a college graduate, but nobody was hiring. And I was like, the hell am I going to do? Yeah.
Like right when things were coming up.
What the hell am I going to do?
Yeah.
Some of my friends have moved out of their parents' house. They moved out of state.
Yeah.
Some are freaking engaged. Some of them are getting married. Like what?
I'm already seeing that right now. Like
some people are getting engaged. Like
kids.
Sometimes I'm looking at social media and I'm like, oh my God, she's getting engaged. This one's getting a house. This one just got a new car. This one's just traveled. This one just has a new business. I'm like, what Netflix show can I commit to? Like, seriously, you know what I mean?
That's the real
And part of it is because we always are thinking about that tomorrow or whatever. And it's like, no, live for now.
Yeah.
Like I'm 27. What? I'm going to get married so I can be a child bride? Like I'm not
a child bride.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what are we
But these are real
about?
thoughts that people like. Do you mean that you go through that like during
these times? All of us go through it, but I am not a child bride. Like relax. I'm still an infant. So like, let me figure some stuff out.
I feel like at heart you still feel.
And you're definitely infant. Yeah.
Not too much. All right.
How old are you?
21.
Yeah. You said 21.
Yeah.
Like girl,
I'll
you're
be 22 in 2 months.
Okay, relax.
But honestly, at this point, I'm not like excited to be growing up. Like after like I think once
it gets better. Actually.
No, I mean it's not about.
But I will say your 20s are ghetto. And I'm not even.
Like so excited now. Like I haven't heard any good reviews on.
I heard 30s early 20s and 40s is like that is where
the prime years.
Mm-hmm. And then I will say this. I will say this. Yeah, it's just honestly you give less fucks. Honestly, that's really it. But I will say your late 20s is your early 20s, but you have money.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
And that's a little bit more fun.
That's the part where
you can actually go to these like events and travel the way that you want, not be like 6 girls in one room. We all have to share the designer bag.
That's the
like, you know what I mean?
You get it Tuesday, I get it Wednesday.
Literally.
That's I'm just ready to like get past like. I mean, no, I will still want to enjoy this moment too, but I'm ready to.
No, please, Mary, enjoy it. Yeah, because. Here's why I always say you have your entire life to be stressed out. You have your entire life to find your partner, to have a house, or whatever. Yeah. Always enjoy the season that you're in. So when I was in college, and this is what I did in college too. I went to every football game, basketball game, because I know as a 27-year-old, I have no interest in going to a college game and getting messed up with college people
I think that's like the biggest.
Literally, rather swallow a jean jacket than do that. I'm not even joking.
I think that's literally the biggest piece of advice.
So enjoy it now. Friends, and then at one point, like right now, I'm kind of in the season of I want to stay in. Game nights are exciting to me right now. Partying and living up in the club is not for me right now. You're there right now. That's totally fine, dude. That's because at one point, so enjoy every season is what I'm saying. But anyway,
I think we've had that. Like I've had the fun. But I'm still seeing.
But you're also a little bit more grown than the average 21-year-old. You just have always been more grown.
Yeah.
So I totally get that you're a little bit ahead of your time. You're just a little bit more.
But mature. I still want to. I don't even talk about more grown. It's just like I think like my taste in things.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I mean, your friends say you a little bougie. Yeah, for sure. What was I saying?
You were.
This is why I love podcasting because it's like
COVID.
So then I got a little bit more debt, and then I was looking for jobs, and then I came across a med spa. And again, had no experience, right? But my experience in social media and marketing, now that I have that under my belt because I work for orthodontist, and I did my stats of like I grew their account this much and all this stuff. And then they're like, oh, we'll take a chance on you. So I did the med spa. Again, I have nothing. I don't know anything about skincare. I know nothing about like med spas. It's all about like aesthetics. Worked there for a couple years.
I was going to ask you too, how you met Courtney. You could say that after.
Oh yeah, for sure. So,
because I know she played a big role in like everything too.
Oh, and I don't even think I've expressed this to her. I mean, she knows I'm absolutely obsessed with her, but quite literally she's one of those people in your life that you meet, that you're supposed to meet, that quite literally changed my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, actually, I owe, like, everything to her.
I hope she sees this, Courtney. You're a real one.
Like,
she didn't know me, but you're a real one.
No, and part of it is, it's literally not, and she'll even tell you, like, that she always tells me, like, you're the one who did the interview. You're the one who has to walk through the door. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, for sure. But even seeing how she moves, how she handles herself, how she handles the team and stuff, it's very inspiring. And for me, I find a lot of my mentors, like Dr. Ricks is one of my mentors. She's a Black therapist. There's very few of us out there. Courtney is also a Black woman. I'm able to really connect and relate with more. Black women because I see myself in them. So I met Courtney because Courtney was our clinical trainer at the med spa. Oh. So she was literally what I do for other accounts now.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And and then
so she had your position back then, as you were, you'd go into different spas, explain to them how you.
How
did she get promoted since then?
No. She's
she's still because now she's like a regional whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Now you know in the story.
Yeah, I know everything now because you're the clinical. Okay.
Yeah.
She's the med spa.
Yeah, so if I had a question about the devices, which how accounts do for me too now, she's the one who does that. So a little backstory, guys. I feel like we're not like explaining. Yeah. My team member now that I work for the company that I work now, she was my consultant when I worked at the previous job. So that's how I met her.
How did your relationship like build? Like, how did you guys connect? I mean, obviously, she
what it was.
Like, what made you guys?
Courtney, she is the same person basically in every room, and. The one thing I want to honestly, the biggest thing I learned, it's a cliche, but the more that you are exactly the person that God intended you to be, whether it's how weird you are, your inappropriate jokes, whatever it is, because he knows your heart. He's literally knows the amount of hair follicles on your freaking head. Yeah. Not even our parents know that. You know what I mean? He knows you more than anyone else. The more I was more myself, like just be yourself, meaning, excuse me. Sometimes I have inappropriate jokes. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I could say that, whatever. Yeah. That moment where you feel fearful is a moment you're supposed to be who you're supposed to be. The time you feel like you're scared or scared shitless is the time that you jump. That's the perfect time to do it, right? Yeah. So anytime Courtney would come to the office, me and her would just have this great banter and rapport because I was myself, she was herself, and we would just really have this beautiful relationship.
So you guys kind of grew off that.
Yeah. Now the crazy thing is, that I love about this woman is Courtney is that same person from every single person. That's a very special person. She makes everyone feel that way. She's just amazing. She just really is. I'm obsessed with her and she knows this. A job opened up randomly in my territory for the company that I am at now. Yeah.
Did she let you know about it or did you find on your own?
I found out about it. Oh. And I reached out and then connected with Courtney about it.
Did Courtney already work there, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I seek to see what was going on. And the job opened up and willing, it makes no sense. I don't have I work in a clinical team. I don't have a clinical background, but I worked my butt off to really know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And it's been history ever since, great ever since. But the reason why I tell you that entire story is because for anyone out there who, has recently graduated, they're experiencing the postgraduate blues, it will not make sense looking forward. It only, like, even what you said, like my testimony, you wouldn't have known, connecting the dots. I would have never gotten to this job if I didn't work at the med spa. I would never got the med spa if I didn't work for the orthodontist.
The biggest thing I've ever lived by, and obviously it comes with God too, but it's the butterfly effect. Have you heard?
Oh my God.
Just any little moments that just you were meant to be at this specific time at this place to be destined to meet this person, or do you mean
you just never know? So all you can do is truly be yourself and be kind, right? Whoever you mistreat, you'll see again. Mm-hmm. So really being yourself and having faith in God. Now, here's the thing is that when you said, oh my God, those years, the testimony that you tell people, that was quite literally the worst. I never showed it because I'm very much I'd rather just let God handle my worries and have to burden anyone else. That's something I need to work on. But that's just the truth. No one really noticed that. You know what I mean? Even my sister was just girl, you used to drive 45 minutes to the orthodontist and 45 minutes back. That's paid.
So tough, yeah.
Yeah, get paid sorry, the audio was cutting. Why is the audio cutting out? Hold on.
Testing.
Do you hear it? Do you hear yourself?
Testing, yeah.
Okay. That was weird. Sorry guys, some technical difficulties. I'm a firstie, still trying to figure it out. But my sister was basically I don't know how you did that for a job that you're not. So when I say looking at our parents do that every single morning, I did that for 2 years and came home to a nice home. Girl, I was making money to
you have to pay rent at the time too. Do you mean?
Yeah. And that's a blessing from my parents. And I thank my parents for that. But the real grind, and I'm telling you, now grinding, this, I'm on this past week, 4 flights in 1 week.
Yeah.
It was gnarly, right? So then it's then it's Uber, then it's hotel, then it's crazy. It's hard work. But am I actually emotionally drained? Sorry if you hear a siren, guys. A siren. Am I emotionally drained? No. Because the job, I'm doing something that I actually enjoy doing.
Where and it's
waking
you've been
up
wanting
every
to travel.
Morning. Oh my God, yeah. Waking up every morning. Going to a job that you don't like, that you don't care for. Maybe you hate your boss, maybe you hate your coworkers, whatever. And then coming home, eating dinner, and then doing the same shit the next day. That's a real grind.
100%.
And how I felt was I was doing it every day, not even close what I thought actually. Yeah. But of course, God was doing what he's supposed to do in the background. Not even close to a step closer to what I actually wanted to do.
Yeah.
Looking back, I saw what he was trying to do. What I now realize, and actually my sister pointed this out, it was discipline.
Yeah.
I can't, basically, why would God grant you your wishes or your dreams if you're not even disciplined enough to make your bed in the morning?
Yeah.
Right?
And do things that you might not know at the time. Where do you mean?
So to me at the time, even my own parents were girl, this job makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why am I driving 45 minutes there and 45 minutes back? What did that allow me to do in those 45 minutes? Listen to worship music, talk to God, sometimes cry.
So it was their time to let everything out.
It forced me to get closer to him because I was it was basically my back against the wall.
Yeah.
And although it looked fine, I would literally say from graduating high school to graduating. Honestly, no, that college was fun, but probably post-grad, 21, 22 to 24, 25, worst time of my life. Now,
did you feel that in the moment, or are you looking back and you're yeah, that was shitty?
No, because when you're in it, when you're in the eye of the storm, you don't know. Yeah. Now that I've actually experienced fulfillment, great coworkers, all the stuff, I was the gag is, girl, you are not okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you see it in hindsight. Yeah.
And if I didn't have my faith, I don't know where I would be, honestly. Yeah. All right, guys, sorry for this podcast, but this will be an episode. This will be an episode.
100%, yeah.
So what were we talking about again?
Not being able to like see it because you're in the eye of the storm. But then
I was not okay. Now, if I didn't have my faith, I don't know what.
100%.
And here's the thing: this is all very a privileged conversation. These are all like first world problems, but they're still problems. You know what I mean?
But I think
so. You want to validate those emotions, but so for all graduates out there, and even you love, it's okay to not have it figured out.
Yeah,
regardless of what our parents say,
it doesn't need to be all
figured out now. And like, what a joke. You're 21 right now. Right now, it's time to make mistakes. Right now, it's time to travel. I wish I did more of that. I'm doing that now because I'm learning, but I wish I did more of that before.
Yeah.
So it's okay if you haven't figured out. That's totally, totally fine. That's
but
probably
I think also
my
just
biggest,
putting your trust in God too. Do you mean?
And
not losing sight of that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. If I didn't have my, literally, I don't know. I don't know where I would have been. I mean, literally, like, my parents didn't have my friends didn't, my counselors or whatever.
People never do, yeah.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
You're not gonna find those answers through people.
Yeah, and so the last thing I want to leave with you and all graduates out there who are the first to graduate in their family, they don't really know what they're doing. I know it sounds so cliche, but all the cliches I've learned, like I've asked elderly people before, then they've said all the cliches are so true. And what I want to leave you with is, it's okay to not have it all figured out, right? You're 20, 21, 22, all of you graduates out there, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older. It's never too late. Whatever you see on social media, if you see the 21-year-old who's a billionaire now, you don't know their story. You don't know what that comes with that as well. Everything in God's timing. I truly do not want anything that God's hand is not in, right? And looking back, I don't know if I would say I would relive that moment, but I wouldn't want to change anything because where I am now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into detail of my lifestyle, but my lifestyle now, it makes all the benefits. It makes no sense
at all.
Like, what is this job? I'm so freaking happy.
I didn't even know like things like that even existed. Do you mean like people were given these opportunities?
Yeah.
Or not even, I don't know, just enhancements in those jobs. Like I didn't know.
It didn't, the perks, it makes no sense, right? It absolutely makes no sense. And what's crazy is that I've always dreamed of traveling and but I thought it was with entertainment but you know what I truly think in that season, the same way I'm in the season for when I am going to be in entertainment, where it's you get to a city, you do the show, then you go to another city, you do. I'm used to it now. But I think, I really think that's the driving that I did.
And also just like the different people you meet, like you're never just, do you mean like home all
we're not going to talk about who, but you know who I met that we always talk about from the company I'm in with now.
Really? Oh,
remember we're talking about?
Yeah. Oh, you've seen them recently?
Wait, what?
I said you've seen them recently.
As far as like the Zoom or whatever, yeah.
But you've been speaking. Oh, yeah, you had that connection there.
Yeah. When would I have ever met that person?
True. Yeah.
And so the person that we're talking about is just a person that's very internet marketing space, and it's nice to just being able to network and you just never know who you're gonna meet, right?
Just being in those rooms, it's like you have a foot in the door, like,
oh my god, yeah. And the last thing I've also learned, and I want to leave with you guys as well, you graduates, is definitely work as hard, and if you get a chance, read Outliers. It's my favorite book by Malcolm Gladwell. He basically studies success. I don't know about this, and I'm so loving that we're talking about this because it just segues into again what a Firsties is. I'm obsessed with people who are the 1%, the people who are very successful. 100%. And usually the people who are very successful are the first to do it in their families. Yeah. So everyone is a Firstie. You know how crazy it is for Steve Jobs to be the first in his family to do that shit? Like, what? Figure it out on his own. Yeah. And now he's like an icon, and he's literally changed. For like, who doesn't have one of these? Yeah. Like, it's crazy, right? So that's why I'm obsessed with that, and that's why this podcast is called Firsties, and we're celebrating the first to ever do it. Anyways,
perfect. Oh, is it blinking again?
No, I mean that's the battery, so we have to wrap up. The reason I want to bring that up is because I want to embrace people who are the first to make anything happen. So for any of you graduates out there, give yourself a break, be a little bit more kinder to yourself. You're going to figure out, but also have fun and believe in yourself.
Give yourself a pat on the back too. Yeah,
and you made it. Yeah, you made it, Mary. You made it. And because college is ghetto, girl.
Yeah,
college is hard. It's ghetto.
You're right.
So you made it.
We definitely had our ups and downs, but
as a first generation, like you made it. So,
but of course we had our amazing inspirations.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Josie.
You're
I think that's also the last thing. I'll leave it up on this because, this is my podcast.
Right, like, go ahead.
But I think also just like surrounding yourself with good people. I think that's like the biggest thing. Do you mean?
Yeah.
Like if you don't have,
people.
like-minded people, just like.
That's so sweet.
People that you don't like.
Girl, joke's on you. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, well, like as
the
we're in the same.
the blind.
But like we still have, but like there's still that like authenticity there because it's like no matter what, like you'll tell me straight up how it is. Do you mean like you'll tell me the truth of like
I'll help you in this journey now.
Yeah,
and I'm even trying to connect you and bring you into my world or whatever, which is gonna be exciting.
That's what I'm saying. But, of like that's I feel like in like Abisha culture, or just even different cultures, like no one tells you the real truth. There actually wants to be like that helping hand there, and I'm like, why not make that more popular? Like, do you mean spread that? But
absolutely, yeah. So to all you graduates out there, congrats. Pat on the back, y'all made it. I think you got an extra gold star, especially because being the first in your family, that is no joke. To all you graduates out there, anything else you want to leave with?
I think that's it. We can wrap it up, boys. Thank you.
Where's this
having me?
Just like, we wrap it up, boys. Like, boy.
Anyways,
guys, please subscribe, leave a comment, leave a rating as well. That really helps me out a lot. Yes. Let me know where you graduated from. If you can resonate with anything we talked about, I really want to connect with you guys in the comment section. But that is it, guys. Again, congrats to all the graduates, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, this is a great first pod.